guys, welcome back to another video of Dinners with Deja. It's your girl Deja, and we are going to be making Brussels sprouts. Alright, now I'm trying to get y'all to eat healthy during this pandemic because your immune system needs to be A1 right now, okay? So, got my Brussels sprouts. I got the ones that usually come in the mesh bag, the fresh produce. I do not like to use frozen for this recipe. I do use frozen Brussels sprouts, but just not for this recipe that I'm using. So you'll take your Brussels sprouts, cut the ends off, and cut them in half. If you get these little bits of florets floating around, keep those because they're gonna be nice and crispy in the pan. So my pan is nice and hot. I'm gonna take about a tablespoon and a half of butter. And that's gonna be our saute. Just get it off. And then you're gonna need about a tablespoon of olive oil. Now the butter is to help saute the Brussels sprouts, and the butter is to, the olive oil is to help crisp. Butter is to saute, olive oil is for crispiness of the Brussels sprouts. So just move that around your pan. Oh yeah. And a lot of people are always afraid to turn their stove on before they put the butter in. Get your pan nice and hot before you put your butter in there. That way you can learn how to do temperature control on your pans. A lot of people always either cook their stuff too fast because it's too high and it burns, or they cook it too low and the juices fall out. And there's our oven, guys. It has nothing to do with the video, but I just wanted you guys to know what our oven sounds like. All right, so once that gets done, we're gonna add our garlic. Now I have our stove on medium low. You don't want it too high, especially when you're cooking the garlic. Now I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit once the garlic is done. But you don't want to cook the garlic too high on its own because it will burn very quickly since it's so thin. So I really just want to saute it and get it going, get it nice and dense, and it smells good already, and there's only olive oil and butter in the pan. All right, so while that sautés, our seasoning is going to be garlic salt, nutmeg, I know, stay with me, red crushed pepper for a little bit of kick, just yeah, and pepper. And the reason I'm not using salt in this recipe because there's already salt and garlic, salt people. So you don't want to over season Brussels sprouts because once they're too salty, they're nasty. So now that our Brussels sprouts are sauteing, our garlic, we're gonna add in our Brussels sprouts. For all you health nuts out there, you guys are gonna love this recipe. All right, so I like to go ahead and add my seasoning now before it's sauteed because the seasoning will cook into the Brussels sprouts. And if you look closely into Brussels sprouts, they have these little ridges, kind of like cabbage. And you want the seasoning and the butter and all the olive oil to get inside of that. So when you put it in there now, as it cooks down, those ridges kind of open up and it helps to get everything to seep inside. So every bite has seasoning. So about a tablespoon of pepper and literally just a dash of nutmeg, like a pinch. Half a teaspoon, if you say. About 2 tablespoons of garlic salt. You can never have too much garlic, guys, so I go heavy on the garlic. And then about a pinch of red crushed peppers. Not a lot, just to give it a nice little kick. You don't really want Brussels sprouts to be spicy. And mix that all together. Make sure you evenly coat it. And remember, as I told you guys, taste as you cook. Now don't taste it right now because the Brussels sprouts are not done, but once they get done, it is okay if you add more seasoning to it. It's not gonna taste any different. Just taste as you go. Some people have different taste buds. You might want a little bit more seasoning salt than I put on here. But this is good enough for me. So, now that that is evenly mixed, I'm going to add a little bit more butter so it doesn't burn. About a tablespoon and a half of butter. Just mix it. Smells so good. Guys, I can't even tell you. Now, the nutmeg is gonna add a nice little nutty flavor to the Brussels sprouts. I know a lot of you are like, ew, nutmeg, that's for, you know, pies and hot chocolate and Starbucks. It's not. If you know how to use your seasonings correctly, it's gonna come out great. These Brussels sprouts are gonna have a nice little nutty taste to it. And it sounds crazy at first. And when I did it, I was like, oh my God, what did I just make? And it turned out so great. I ended up loving it. I did this recipe. So once that is nice and evenly cooked and spread out, you're gonna let it sit and cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. And you wanna check on it and consistently stir it so that way the bottom of the Brussels sprouts do not burn. If you see it starting to dry out a little bit, you can add a little bit more butter or a little bit more olive oil to the pan. Just shake it and wait. Now we're gonna wait with some
When you did that, just got a whiff, and it's so good. It smells so good.
Trivia. Why should you hold your glass here and not here?
Because it's more proper.
And
why?
If you hold it here, the palm of your hand is gonna make it warm, causing it to get hotter faster. It's going, guys. It's gonna
it smells interesting. Like it's good. It just doesn't smell like Brussels sprouts.
It doesn't. It doesn't smell like it, and it doesn't taste just like a regular old vegetable. If you just, you know, steam some vegetables and throw salt and pepper on it, it's not gonna be that great if you're not a vegetable person. If you are a vegetable person, that sounds wonderful to you. But if you're not, you need to explore your flavors, you know? Like salt adds like taste and the saltiness to things, you know? And then you got like pepper and nutmeg and smoked tap. That adds flavor to your dishes. So you gotta know what compounds each seasoning has, all right? The smokiness, the pap. I love pap, guys. Now you guys don't have to cover this. If you have a lid, you can cover it. The steam will help it cook a little bit faster, but I like to do it this way to make sure I get that crispiness I want. Because if you cover it, the condensation on the lid will drip down into the pan and you won't get that crisp. You'll just get soggy Brussels sprouts, and that's not really what we want. We want it to be soft in the middle, but crunchy on the outside, kind of like a French fry. Oh, look at me making knowledge. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter, just to make sure it doesn't dry out. Now, since Brussels sprouts are thick, kind of like cabbage, you will need to add butter. And the reason I don't add a whole bunch at once is because you don't want it to get too soggy. You don't want to add too much butter to the point to where it's just drowning in butter. That's not what we want. We're gonna let that keep going for another minute or two. And they will be done. Oh, they look so good. You can tell they're already getting crispy on the outside. I just want to try a little bit. Oh, should I try like a little floret? Taste as you go. Look at you, girl. I'm learning. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon more garlic salt, and it will be perfect, guys. You see, taste as you go. So I added about 2.5 tablespoons of garlic salt. I know a lot of you are like, oh my God, that's a lot of garlic. Her breath gonna be kicking. 1, it is gonna be kicking. 2, it's gonna be smacking, okay? It's gonna smack. How are you doing during this quarantine, Jessica?
I'm a sinking ship.
Sinking ship.
I'm doing okay.
Things that you can do during quarantine.
Cook with your friends.
Cook with your friends. Play games. Watch TVs. Watch that watch list that you got on Netflix and Hulu. Empty that out. Read new books. Get new hobbies.
We played sand volleyball yesterday.
All right, guys. So our Brussels sprouts are finished. Now we're gonna plate. Ooh. I'm gonna scoop some of these delicious Brussels sprouts on this pan right here. Try not to burn, Jessica. Hot pan. Testing.
I want this one. How do I know if it has all the ingredients on it?
I don't know.
It's gonna be hot. Hold on, it's hot.
It's hot, guys. Blow your food before you eat it. Speaking with her hands, she's saying this is great. The flavors are nice. The compounds work well together.
It does. Like I didn't know what you meant by the nuttiness of it or whatever, but it is like there's just it's just good. I want a floret.
Yes. The floret pieces to me are the best because they get so nice and crispy and they just hold the most flavor.
Yeah. That is so good.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yay.
The nutmeg, yes, is a good key ingredient. There is like the tiniest little kick in the back of my throat, which I think is like that's the red pepper. So that's the perfect amount. Well done. Good
Yay! All right, guys, another video.
Signing off.
Signing off for duty. Hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Let me know how you guys like it. Show me videos of you guys making it. Send me pictures. I love pictures of you guys cooking these recipes. If I have any followers. All right, bye guys.
Bye.